Okay, so let's understand and appreciate what's going on today. We are eventually going to get there. But we need to recognize that Trump's election represents the Republicans' commitment to white racial power. It started with Nixon's Southern strategy. It gained fruition with Reaganomics and Papa Bush's 1,000 points of light. And this notion of commitment to white racial power was permanently ensconced, and it permanently ensconced itself in the guise of son of a Bush's terrorism doctrine. So this commitment to white racial power is what got Trump elected. And when looking at the recent demonstrations of this white superiority fantasy, the people participating are not the common, poor, white trash stereotypes of thugs with tattoos, though they are posing as militant buffoons, but middle-class professionals working in offices and in higher education and living as your next-door neighbors. And when Barack Obama was elected, the reactionaries began recruiting heavily under the Tea Party label. And now under Trump, they have blatantly come out coveting white power and white privilege. The religious right, meanwhile, underscores white supremacy. Evangelicals and fundamentalists give praise to God for bringing Trump to power. So we're going to learn in this class that there is a long history of racism and anti-Semitism in the United States that's guised under immigration policy. And today, when we take a look at the alt-right, it is very well armed, and they all have automatic rifles. And that is what the Republicans let loose from their closet when they gave Trump the executive suite. And it will be interesting to see how the Republican Party tries to control this idiot that they granted power to. But meanwhile, what we're going to be doing today is trying to appreciate the white beans. And these white beans are very important for us because these white beans are key to helping us appreciate why we came to this situation in itself. And we have to remember that we need to appreciate how everybody becomes part of this system. Now, one of the reasons why people are in constant motion is that they are searching for opportunities to continue their economic existence. People are constantly searching for economic survival. And so most often, people want to make sure that they can achieve a subsistence level that guarantees that their families will be fed, clothed, and sheltered. And in this way, we can appreciate that throughout human history, people have migrated throughout the world in search of a decent human existence. And likewise, it is important to understand that wherever there are economic systems, wherever economic systems are established, labor forces are required to create the infrastructure that facilitates the exchange of goods and services. Consequently, history reveals that systems are constantly looking to form as well as control labor forces, so as to create markets as well as build the monumental architecture designed to enhance the exchange of goods and services. So throughout history, we witness the formation and control of labor forces, and this is done in order to facilitate the enhancement of economic growth and development. So let's put down on the bottom thirds formation and control of labor forces, because whether it is done through voluntary labor agreements or enslaved labor or contractual forms of labor, systems desire people's skills. Systems desire people's knowledge, experiences, or assets. And it is this way that systems recruit workers. Workers migrate to areas where their labor is valued, where their labor is required, where their labor is appreciated, where their labor is wanted. So we want to understand that throughout the historical development of the United States, there is a constant need to form and control labor forces. Please understand that. We have a system. It needs workers. So it recruits workers in whichever way it can recruit the workers. We must keep that in mind. The need to form and control labor forces is tied to federal policy. The need to control labor forces and form them and control them is tied to international relations. So businesses in the United States rely upon the federal government to find them workers. Please understand this. As we have taken a look in previous presentations, since the colonial era, governments have been involved in securing voluntary immigrants to the country and, most importantly, involuntary immigrants to the country, in whichever way possible. It is part of international policy. So the United States federal government has been actively recruiting labor forces for this country since its inception. Treaties and negotiations are entered into to bring labor forces into the United States for its economic development and growth.